Good morning. So just now I updated all the different build setups in my Mobalytics planner, including some tweaks to the passive trees, atlas trees, and skill gems. Most importantly though, I now added the setup that I'm running now, which is in my opinion by far the strongest this character has ever been. This setup is the all-rounder, in which case the LR here stands for Lightning Rod. So for this build, we went completely out of crit and we are using the Lightning Rod Anointment. This build can basically do everything, but with two very, very easy gear switches, it can specialize even more and just becomes an insane all-rounder. So, this is basically the base set for this build version right here. We are at a Spark DPS tooltip of 170k. We are also running 202 increased rarity. And this 170,000 DPS tooltip on Spark is with a wand that I still see not as very good at the moment, or at least it's definitely not a GG wand so far. I have been holding off on getting a wand for the past few days. I've been eagerly waiting for the patch that is dropping tomorrow. Because GGG announced there will be some crafting changes, I don't think it will be that much of a difference, especially for wands. But as soon as the patch drops tomorrow, I will do a very big crafting session for wands. I've been saving up a lot of bases here. So yeah, on stream, most likely we are going to do a little session of trying to get me a very, very good wand, a +5 wand with even better stats than this one. So yeah, if you wanna see that, maybe tune into the stream either tomorrow or on the weekend or watch the VOD. So yeah, this is the base set. Like I said, we are using Moria Invictus for the rarity mainly. We are using this wand. We are using Ingenuity, of course. We are using these two rings. I think some of them you might have seen before. We are, of course, still using the Everlasting Gaze with, this time we have allocated, of course, Lightning Rod now. We have some new gloves. These have critical damage bonus, but that is really not needed. We went for even more maximum mana here. We went for even more high energy shield bases and a lot of intelligence as well. So we are at 348 intelligence. This is mainly because I'm gonna transition eventually into a pure mana version as the next version we are going for. I am only waiting for RNGesus to give me a Dream Fragment. So it hasn't fallen into my lap yet. So we are still waiting for it. Yes, we have, of course, also capped on reses. I am a little bit over again, as I sometimes do. So over 90, I think, in my opinion, is good to have, because a lot of the high tier maps have the modifier of -15. So yeah, basically the gear is very, very heavily optimized to this version right now. And as I said in the intro before, this set can, like this can basically do everything very, very well. The boss killing is not as bad. I attached a few clips in the beginning that were just boss killing with this exact setup, but this can get even better. Let's say we want to do more rarity. We are just going to switch out one thing, and that is our focus, and we are still at a DPS on Spark of 111,000, and we are at base rarity of 418%. Just by switching out one thing, and now we can still very, very easily do breaches, we can easily do high tier maps like this, and we are running 418% base rarity. As I said a lot of times before, especially on my full rarity setup that I did, for over 400% is definitely not needed. I think 100 is probably a necessity at this point. 200 is very, very nice to have. Everything above 200, there are very, very heavy diminishing returns, so you really don't have to go over 200. You will be fine. But as just an option, you can do this just with one switch. The other switch is for the boss killing version. So we have a chest here with 60 spirit. And if we switch that one instead of our Moria Invictus, we are still at 5,500 energy shield. We are still at 5,400 mana. but now we have enabled the use of Cast on Shock with Lightning Conduit. And this will just melt high tier bosses. So yeah, this is basically 3 setups in one, just with 2 easy switches. Okay, so for the base setup again, I'm gonna go over the skill gems. The skill gems for Spark is considered casting, inspiration, arcane tempo, acceleration, and here, because we are using lightning rod, we are using controlled destruction for Spark. This means that the skill has 30% more damage with hits and ailments, but supported skill cannot deal critical hit. So we are using lightning rod. I think most of the people already know, but we are using lightning rod here. And lightning rod says critical, non-critical hits are lucky. That means of every roll that is done, it is rolled twice. So when you actually do some sort of lightning damage, it gets 2 rolls. And instead of just getting 1 and just getting the damage like that, it is always using the better roll for the damage. I think I've saw some people do some calculations on it. It doesn't show up on the tooltip, by the way, but it is probably like a damage increase. I've seen different calculations between 30 and 40%. So that is why we are using controlled destruction on Spark, because Spark now cannot critically hit, which makes lucky even better. Okay, Obro Storms is still the same. Like pretty much in all the setups, strip away, font of mana, lightning exposure, overcharge, and overabundance. Mana tap is the same as well. Premeditation, murderous intent. Archmage, just lightning mastery. Conductivity still on weapon switch, of course. Heightened curse and focus curse. I'm also using Hex Bloom for mapping. I still really like that. We are still using blink on weapon switch. We are still using Sigil of Power on weapon switch with magnified effect. And like I said, now we have Cast on Shock ready in our skill gems to be used for high tier bossing. We are using Cast on Shock with Lightning Conduit, Impetus, Energy Retention, and Elemental Focus. Okay, the passive tree is probably the biggest change to what is on the other build versions. So I completely revamped the passive tree in comparison with the other build versions. So yeah, the passive tree will be in the mobalytics, of course, as well. The main thing is for mapping, I advise the use here of branching bolts. You don't need fork, you don't need pierce on Spark. For mapping and high tier breaches, for example, just use branching bolts. And for bosses, use electric amplification. I put this in the mobalytics guide as well. So yeah, that is pretty much the only passive tree change you can do depending on what you are actually doing at the moment. Yeah, we are also going for a lot of energy shield recharge rate and faster start of energy shield recharge. I think it is just very, very a good quality of life feature. It makes you super, super tanky. Even if you get hit by a boss or something and you lose all your energy shield, it is back super, super fast. Like I said, I still am using all the curse nodes on weapon switch. So these are all activated on the weapon set too. So yeah, passive tree, of course, is uploaded. So I will go over it. Not anymore here. We are, of course, using the Against the Darkness Time Lost Diamond. We are still using it with increased maximum mana, which is pretty much a given. Right now, we are also using it with Cold Dress, because like that, we are going over our Cold Dress. But at some point, this will be changed for maximum mana and int. That will probably be the next update. Then we will also, if we go for the 4% int version, because we have so much intelligence here now, I think we have around 150, I think, more intelligence than some of the other ones, or yeah, something around that. We will very, very massively profit from this having the 4% intelligence bonus for every small passive node. So jewels, very important as well. Your jewels should have basically this stat priority. I listed the stat priority in the mobalytics, of course, again as well. You can always go a little bit for what you need at the moment. If you need a little bit more 3 threshold, or if you need a little bit more mana regen, yeah, you can always yeah, see what you need at the moment. So spell damage is very good to have, of course, or is the first priority, just as cast speed and elemental damage. These are the three things you want the most for DPS. I have gone with a lot of freeze threshold because we are not being frozen as much now, which is very, very nice because this is still the #1 thing that is dangerous for us. We also have some increased curse duration in this case. We, of course, have, again, mana on kill, so mana recover on kill. This basically negates all of our mana needs while we are mapping. And what else do we have here? We have some mana regeneration rate, elemental damage, spell damage, and maximum mana, energy shield as additional stun threshold. Okay, my mouth is already not working anymore. So yeah, these are the jewels. That is basically it for that. So yeah, you saw the clips in the beginning. This build is very, very strong. Like I said, I think this is basically the strongest this character has ever been. I absolutely love this because it is so versatile as well. You can go to a boss killer build just by switching out one thing and switching out 3 passive nodes, and you are already then a boss killer. You can also go crazy on rarity, super, super fast. Very, very nice. Yeah. So that has been it for this version. Like I said, I will now slowly transition into the boss killer. No, excuse me. Slowly transition into the pure mana version. This will take some time, so I will keep using this for now. Yeah, if you want to see this in action, check out the stream. I stream weekdays every week, every day in the morning in European time zone. So yeah, if you want, check out the stream. Maybe become a member, become a subscriber, whatever. If you feel that way. Have a very good one. See ya. Bye.